Welcome to a collective reading today for the collective around kind of being at a bit of a crossroads when it comes to the different new beginnings, opportunities, options that are before you. And if you're really stuck at a point where you're not sure where to go or what to do, I invite you to see if maybe there's some guidance present here within, should any of these different readings resonate with you. In this reading, what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite you to look at it from a perspective of, if you feel like this is an Ace of Swords, like it's a truth that you're pursuing. It could be justice, it could be truth within self. If the Ace of Swords resonates with you when it comes to one of these pathways you could choose to pursue, I'll begin with the Ace of Swords, and then I will move to the Ace of Wands. What are you manifesting with all of your passion? What are you passionate about pursuing? Now, this can be in romance. It could be because it is the element of fire, and the image of the Ace of Wands can, depending on the deck, be very masculine in presentation. So if that symbol resonates well with you, with this one of these options, one of these pathways, then I invite you to listen to that reading. The timestamps will be below as well. And then I will move into the Ace of Pentacles and then the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Pentacles is really more about you giving to something. You perceiving a financial contribution to an option, be it time, be it currency. The flip side could also be with that you're receiving one, or you're wanting to manifest the reception of Ace of Pentacles being presented to you, or you have already had one presented to you and you're not sure if this is the path you wish to choose. The Ace of Cups is an offer of love. Yes, it's also the receiving of an intuitive gift, of an emotional inheritance, an emotional, spiritual, intellectual, intuitive awareness. So I'll do a reading for each of those. The timestamps will be listed below. We'll be moving into the first reading, which will be around the Ace of Swords. So this is if you're at a crossroads, you're at a decision point, and you're feeling very passionate about remaining authentic and true to yourself, to continue seeking that in yourself and others, however this may present to those in the collective that have been called to listen to this specific reading. Let's see if we can get some guidance for you. Ooh, way too many. For the element present within this of Earth, what do we have here? Okay, in your pursuit of truth, honesty, and it could very muchly be that of love as well, because the only thing that really is true is love. There's love of self, love, acceptance, compassion of self. And we make mistakes on our path. It is not something to feel ashamed of, to feel guilty about, to put ourselves down over. It is something that is a opportunity to learn from, to grow, to know, well, if I do this in this order, then that's the most likely outcome. If I don't want that outcome, how would I like to change things for the next time around, for the next option? And if you are someone who's aware of past selves, future selves, and you're able to send a message to past you, This would be something where you could send this wisdom back to yourself. Or a future aspect of you is sending that information back to you. Your intuition is your greatest ally in this position. You have a solid foundation. You have a lot of health. You have an environment that you have it within you already. Everything that you need to create the outcome that you've been seeking, but you've been possibly perceiving as consistent failure in achieving it. Everything that you learned didn't work had a pearl of wisdom in it for you. And you don't need to carry that burden of looking for that signal anymore, because so many things within these failures are telling you the answer, but you're looking for a specific answer, and you're not seeing the forest for the trees. You're not seeing the forest for the trees. And by this, I mean you're looking for one thing, but you're not paying attention to 10 different signals coming at you. The repetition present within its consistency is more potent. It has more power behind it than that one specific message that you're looking for. And that's because things change, people change, environments change, awarenesses change. As you change and transform, others around you are changing and transforming. To expect anything to remain stationary and immovable and never evolving is unrealistic. It's unrealistic. Everything in the universe is constantly in motion. So see the forest for the trees. See the tree for the forest. It's all connected. You already have all the answers that you seek. Okay, this one actually had 2 cards that came out, and I'm being led to keep them both. I typically do not do this in this position, but it is being something that is, really highlighted to keep. So you may have had some energies present within the element of air, the knowledge, the wisdom that have guided you, but they have also blinded you because you have been using their judgment, their discernment, their interpretation, their knowledge, and you have not been allowed to see for yourself. You have been having to see through their eyes. And how they perceive what it is to be assertive, their judgment, their opinions, their dynamics around all of that, as to what makes someone assertive a toxic person or a nurturing, abundant, empowering, assertive individual. The way you speak to yourself when you are also trying to challenge yourself is also present here. If you change that assertive voice within you and how you communicate with yourself, you can begin to see a shift in assertive energies outside of yourself as well. This energy, this aspect that was being your perception, your eyes, it was not in a state of healthy boundaries, if you will. At one point, it could have been there. Definitely. At one point, it could have been there, but it's not in a state of healthy boundaries. So you found yourself energetically being taken advantage of, where you were constantly giving, or where you had decided that you weren't going to give at all, and you completely shut out. There could be 2 different groups that are really resonating with either side to that here. Either way, you've been divinely led to a point where you were given the option to either remain in this state of shut out, really, from the world, or to go through the process of opening again, because you had an opportunity, a truth, a love and light, empowerment, fulfillment, something you were excited about, that you deemed worthy. Because in this state, it made you feel where others were making decisions for you. They were clouding your ability to see. They were basically manipulating and controlling you. You have chosen to go through the pain of healing, of opening, of transforming, to feel more fully and be present and balanced within your element of air as well as water. And you're not alone in this. You are being supported by your spirit guides, your ancestors. And it's because you have held on to a happiness that you once knew. Possibly when you were very young, holding on to that childlike happiness, the state of the world being magical. Holding on to that is something that you know is a possibility to live, again, as an adult in this position, in a very assertive and protective way, choosing to take that chance because you have been brought this knowledge. You have had your eyes opened and you're able to see for yourself without their interference, without the filter of their perception before you even get to be aware of any of it. That has been removed. And this is how you're able to make these decisions, take these actions. Okay. Very beautiful. It's not an easy thing to do. Definitely speaking with some spiritual warriors here. You have been growing and nurturing certain seeds within you, certain pockets of knowledge, little things that didn't quite fit. Your subconscious has been working on them, and they have come to light in a more full, complete, and abundant way within your mind. This is part of why you were able to become aware of that imbalance enough to know that your discernment, your intuition it had an additional filter over it. And in that awareness of that, it basically became dispelled, removed. The moment you realized it, you took away its power from you. You've been very, very careful with the energy that you do have. You've been very discerning when it came to your energy, when you went into this state of shutting everything out as a result of having so much taken from you. But you're not in this state of wanting to turn a blind eye to everything that is possible. You're still protective, but you want to see the sun. You want to see the happy, the possibilities. Some of these things you're not really able to not be aware of. You can feel them. You don't have to see them to know them, to sense them. And that's because you're ready to live again, to really live again. And that requires transforming any of these repressed emotions, feelings, thoughts in a very in the light, consciously aware way in order to have that childlike state, that happiness, the forgetting that you're, whatever age. I'm just throwing out, like forgetting that you're 47 and you, for a moment there, you're just a little, playful like you were when you were like 9. You're just swinging on that swing set and you're not concerned about time. You're just enjoying where you are. So this is more of a caution. It's a reminder that you write your own story. You do. You and the divine co-create the narrative, and you let the divine surprise you. Be creative. Be in relationship with you. And that you do not always need to be in a state or dynamic of rescuing someone or being rescued yourself. That there are other stories that you can tell yourself about yourself and the world around you. For the element of fire, for the collective that resonated more with the Ace of Swords, truth. I'm receiving a lot of information about a lot of different possibilities, so many possible new beginnings, and they're not even necessarily your new beginnings. It's as though wherever you go, you leave little seeds of light behind that impact anyone and everyone who comes across them. And the assertive energy here. So this is why I've been kind of quiet about it. This seems like a very complex, multi-layered state. And it's really because there's so much anxiety around it. So let's see what exactly is it that is in the receptive energy before I speak to the assertive. I typically read the assertive first, but with the amount of energy of just the assertive. So this is very much around True North. Really speaks to where you find love and light and excitement, and love is always going to be where you're going to find divine. Always. If you feel you need to go back into a state where you need to shut everything out, the environment you're in is not one that has a strong enough presence of divine within it. It is one that is not of love, light, truth. Now, you could be the one that brings that love, light, and truth to the situation because you are connected, you are tapped in, you are aware. But you know what's best for you, you know your situation, you know the details, the people, the dynamics. And if you just feel that maybe at the time that that's not quite where you're ready to be yet, you know that to be true for you. You are loving yourself in that position. And that is divine present within you. For whoever needed to hear that, loving yourself is where the divine is in a situation like that. And that is to remove yourself from that situation. Because you're not feeling like you can be that beacon of light and not have your light dimmed, then love yourself. That is truth. Right there. That is love. That is light. That is divine. Taking care of yourself. You cannot help others if you cannot take care of yourself. You can't help others if you can't help yourself. The anxiety that is present here is because in the assertive energy, there is so many options that the assertive aspects within the placement of fire, they don't know which one to pursue. They don't know where to go. They don't know what to plan for, where to put the energy, because there's so many options. What they may not be seeing is that these options, these possibilities, these new beginnings are not necessarily for them. They could be sensing all of these other opportunities and new beginnings for others as a result of them coming to a state of co-creation, of manifestation. So they don't necessarily need at this time to be worrying about those new beginnings because they happen as a result, as a domino effect. And them taking that first step towards what their heart longs for the most, their truth, is the first domino that falls. That's all that they need to really focus on, because it gains momentum from there, and it continues and it continues. But all that they had to do was tip over that first domino. The first domino is theirs. They're sensing the new beginnings in all the other dominoes. So they maybe did not see this, the assertive energy. Maybe you didn't see this. Maybe you're this assertive energy. So that amount of anxiety, if you thought that you had to create all of these new beginnings and they were all for you, that would be pretty confusing. To, kind of bring it back to you. Focus on what makes you the happiest. outside of what anybody else wants, needs, or desires, what their opinion of your highest timeline is. No, because you're the expert on you. No one can feel what you feel. No one can observe your life through your eyes other than you. Not the way that you do. You're the expert on you. You know yourself the best. To be your own judge of yourself and not use the standards of others. Use your own. This will help you to be able to know where the love, the light is, and whether or not you want to tip over that domino and allow your energy to be contributed to this momentum. Because this wave of energy of everybody making these changes and these decisions towards love and light, towards their happiness, it's happening already. This is already happening on a major scale. So you have an opportunity right now to add your energy to that and benefit from all of that momentum. And that's because you are ascending. You're having experiences, or you're open to having experiences of happiness, peace, lightheartedness, of your energy level, like it elevating. And this, it sounds so etheric, but it can be very grounded. To do something as little as have that specific thing that you do every day that takes just a couple of minutes, that is just for you, and it helps you feel like you matter, and you move to the next environment in a state of more inner calm, that alone is an elevation in energy. That is you ascending in your vibration. Every decision that you make can either feed love and light within you, your joy, your happiness, your sense of calm and inner peace, or it can detract from that, from the decisions that you make about your routines, what you eat, when you sleep, to who you let be in your life, to who you interact with, to who you give your time to. And you have been very guarded in this for a very long time. And that is completely understandable in today's world, for you to be protective of your energy and very discerning in what you give your time and your energy to. However, it's worth questioning if this restrictive barrier, wall that you have placed around this part of you is actually harming you more than helping you. And to ask yourself that question periodically: am I keeping good things out of my life? Good people, good energies, good choices, because I'm not willing to come out of my set routine to entertain a new way of looking at things, even philosophically, just as food for thought or what if? And answer that question for yourself. If you continue to ask this question of yourself and be as honest as you can with yourself, you're developing a stronger relationship with who you are, and who you are not being defined by others, but who you are being defined by you. Wow, that was a beautiful message to channel. Scary, yes, but heavy, yes. Emotional, definitely. This is where your will is. This is where your passion, what you're creating. To own your domino, that you get to tip that one over. You're not responsible for anybody else's domino, just yours. Just yours. Divine has a way of working with all the other dominoes to help that momentum carry forward. You only need worry about your domino and whether or not you want to tip it over or not, and add its falling momentum to the momentum of the wave of everybody making these choices and changes together. It's a really opportune time to manifest whatever this domino is to you. It's very important. And I do encourage you, especially now that you know you're not responsible for all the other dominoes, that you really consider that. Tipping that domino over, taking that chance. The element of water is a sense of community. Sense of community is what intuitively you're picking up on, that you're connected, that your heart space is protected, that you're guarded, that you're not alone, you are being guided, guarded, by your spirit guides, your ancestors. The divine is present. You're aware of now because you're not having your discernment being clouded by someone else's discernment. Them seeing for you. Now you're seeing for yourself. This is allowing you to own that your intuition is yours. What you're seeing is yours, and gaining consistent confidence in what you're perceiving. That this was always meant to be. That you're always meant to reconnect with your intuition in such a strong way that it's celebrated. In community, yes, but this was something that others, energies around you maybe felt that would never happen. But it was contracted. It was justice. That what appears one way is actually another completely. And it's because you are so tapped in, you're so connected, and not only with the universe divine, you're connected with Mother Earth, the elements. You're aware of Gaia as a conscious, feeling, living being, and that Gaia is a child of the universe, of divine, that Gaia has a soul. Some traditions, like shamanism, a lot of the lore is present within different indigenous cultures, present, Father Sky, Mother Earth, and that we are the children. Thus, you also have the mythologies and the archetypes of masculine, feminine, receptive, assertive. If I could have some oracle cards to just really tie this together for those that chose the pile for, or the reading for the Ace of Swords, we have a spirit of gratitude and connection with divine. In your intuitive awareness, and that it's divinely led and guided, that you are in connection with the masters, that you could be a master yourself. The concept that if we are all one, we're all connected, yet we have an individual awareness of who we are, that when you do receive intuitive guidance, you could be receiving guidance from Buddha, from Jesus, from Muhammad, from any number of ascended masters like Kuan Yin, that you could just go through the list of what you personally, uniquely resonate with your spiritual path and those that you seek, like even like Ganesh, the remover of obstacles. Well, if an elephant's running in your direction, it's probably a good idea to get out of the way. The remover of obstacles. So if you are resonating with Ganesh, then it's possible that obstacles are just removing themselves from your way and are no longer obstacles. So you may not even be aware that they were going to be an obstacle because they decided to make a wise decision and not be trampled. And willingly releasing the things that no longer serve you, knowing that this is your truth, that this is what brings you joy. You are adding your note to the symphony of the universe, and it was missing your note, and now it has your note. So now everything's in perfect synchronicity, perfect harmony. You are exactly where you are meant to be. You are not alone. Just keep following your truth and keep following that love and that light where you feel you can expand. And you'll go places that you will experience joy and happiness. And why not do that, right? Why choose darkness and being alone? Why? No. Might as well choose love and light and happiness. Be that in spite of all the darkness that you have possibly experienced to get to where you are. Be happy just to, that is your justice. That is your justice. Right. Thank you very much for those that resonated with the Ace of Swords for the path or the choice that you were needing a little extra guidance with as to whether or not to pursue it. Namaste. For those of you who resonated with more of a decision to be made around a new beginning that is centered around what your will is, what you are creating, what you desire to bring into your reality, this reading is more around that specific new beginning that you're wanting a little more discernment into, possibly because you're so close to it, your own discernment, you're feeling that you're pretty biased, and to have an outside perspective can help bring in those synchronicities to help you know that you have found clarity because something is said, something is shared that you just know that is for you. Now, I had already pulled a couple cards before I had done this particular recording, but my cat will not stop meowing. So I had tried something to kind of help calm him, hoping that he would not meow through this whole reading. Here's hoping. He's already been outside today. I took him out already, so he doesn't need to go out. He's fine. I've given him a treat and everything. But the message that I had begun to kind of cover is very muchly something that is, I'm being led that it must come out the same, that it was meant to be what was presented in this reading. So we'll begin with the placement of Earth. In this position, this is what you know to be solid, true, consistent in what you are willing into, what you are desiring. The elements presented are really around loyalty, truth, honesty, vulnerability, who you are when you don't have to feel guarded in the presence of another person. You consistently have always desired to be all of yourself and to know that all of you is experienced as a gift. You're gifting this part of yourself to the presence of another. Your heart's very muchly involved in this. And in the need to be in tune, in sync, in harmony is vital for this to be something that does manifest. You have assertively in the past had quite a bit of anxiety around this. This particular card, however, indicates that this is not your current state, that you had gone many sleepless nights worrying about this. And you did that because this situation, this environment, this person, this dynamic that you are manifesting is the total package. It's the total package. And this is something that you have encountered before. This opportunity, this dynamic, this person. Because it's a revisiting of it. It's also a revisiting of that childlike aspect of yourself, that comfortable way of being with one another. Just being present. And a bit of a concern about whether or not your offer of this is how I feel, this is what I want, this is what I think, this is what I desire, whether or not that will be received well, or if your offer will be let past. They will be foregone. And the receptive aspect of things within this dynamic is you're aware of your connection to balance, to love, to light, to shadow self, to healing that aspect, as well as how you present and what makes you happy in, the light of day, and the way that the divine can aid, assist, help you through this to achieve this continual juggling act and not drop, your happiness, or, drop the shadow work to continue growing and healing and co-creating, has allowed for the frivolous, egotistical, self-centered, self-serving obstacles of others that have been placed in your way, or those that you have at one time, they helped you, but now they're hindering you in your goals. You have found a way to overcome these imbalances. What does the collective here need to know about the element of air? Collective that chose the Ace of Wands for guidance, for what they know to be true. You know that there are things that have been left unsaid. Some of these things, others around you know, but nobody spoke about them, like almost like an inside joke kind of a deal. Insider knowledge. Very stubborn in the silence keeping. Kind of like you're playing a bit of a joke. Yeah, like it's a bit of fun to it. So there's things that have been left unsaid. It's just which things? Which things did you know and they knew as well were truths, but no one spoke of? Even if you both aspects to this dynamic are needing some kind of a clarification, this silence was being kept to protect the balance, and it was also divinely guided. It's kind of caused a bit of frustration in action, in choice, and word, because what's left unsaid you can't really act on. But you intuitively know that it's left unsaid, but because it wasn't actually said, you can't act on it. So there's this frustration of the difference between intuitively knowing, or 5D, and 3D knowing, which is actually acted out in the physical, or you heard these things being verbally expressed or acted out. There's that disconnect. So there's that constant balancing between, I know this is what I'm supposed to do because it's divinely guided and it's protecting things, but I'm so frustrated. Receptive aspect is you have been co-creating. You're receptive to know what the other contributions to the co-creation actually are. That frustration really kind of comes over. And even though there's balance present between, assertive and receptive energy, and there's that chance that could be taken. You don't know if it's been taken. And you don't know if it's been taken towards which direction. You're left with a lot of question marks, and you're ready for some answers. That is definitely relatable. So I have empathy for you in this position. I have an element of fire, please, for this collective. It's highlighting that how you want the story to go. If you're writing this story from, I don't want this to happen, you're basically creating the thing you don't want to happen. If you write the story of what's going to happen from a perspective of, I have all the things that are present in the earth position. If you write the story as if they are already in existence, what's already in existence will come about because it already exists. You already created it. To bring it a little more into 3D terms, It's kind of acting as if, except for its belief, its knowing that it is. So that's the difference between 3D and 5D. As you write this story, as you make these decisions of your life, as you tell the story of your life to yourself, tell yourself that this situation you can already be vulnerable in, that you can already see the honesty, the loyalty, the truth, the comfort, that you can already feel the heartstrings being played, like you are already feeling it. If you have a hard time with that because you're so anxious and so worried about any kind of, yeah, these cards are just confirming this. If you're worried about any kind of deceptive energy being present within it, this is your manifestation. You have called it into being. You created it without deceptive energy. You created it with all the vulnerability and honesty and open-heartedness that you began with. So instead of focusing upon all the things that tell you that there could possibly be something going on or not going on that leads you to think, oh, this has got to be deceptive. I just had the upright Hierophant come out. To be open to the things that you have seen that do tell you that what you are creating is what you originally put out. That your manifestation is coming to you. To know that if you are needing to keep the silence as though this is an inside joke, whatever you're manifesting into your world may be feeling the pressure to be silent too, to protect the balance as being divinely guided. To not focus on that is of deception, to focus on that is of truth and is of love. To think about the situation from the other side's perspective and what you know of them and how they move and how they operate and what motivates their decisions and why they behave the way they do, why they choose the things that they do. More than likely, because you long for this open, honest, comfortable vulnerability, this is someone that is unlike anyone you've ever known. So you cannot, it is not fair to this situation, because really it's not fair to yourself, to only focus upon the things that tell you how everyone else would be moving, acting, responding. You are calling this in because this situation is unlike those situations. So you're setting yourself up if you only focus on how others have behaved, not how this individual behaves in this situation. To open to seeing the love, the light within their action is going to give you the insight that only you can have to what's actually behind the decisions and movements and words and choices they've made. And in that, you will see how your manifestation is actually already here. You just needed to be able to have this moment to do this inner dialogue to be able to know that you are already interacting with a situation where you can be so completely open and vulnerable and comfortable and in harmony, and know that your presence in this way is seen as the gift that it is valued, that your loyalty is a gift. In the last placement for the receptive energy here, there's one last thing that keeps you from letting yourself take that chance. That this thing that's come back around, this total package, it will accept what you bring to the table. There's one last thing, and that is it worth missing out on it completely? To not know ever, to live in doubt and regret from this moment on, is that one thing that is you're either holding on to or it's holding on to you, and you're letting it. Is that one thing worth a lifetime of regret? If the answer is no, because you know you'll always regret it, then let it go. If it's meant to be in your life, it'll still be there. If taking this leap of faith doesn't end up quite working out like you want it to, what is meant for you is meant for you. You need this answer. You need to know this to not live a lifetime of regretting not finding the answer. Or you wouldn't be here at this reading right now. There is a bit of an invitation, though, that when you take this leap of faith, that you may want to have a little help, something you bring with you. What's specific in the card is a crystal. Crystals, specifically ones that just happen to find their way into your life, they're meant for you. They resonate with you. Certain ones, particularly the ones that come to mind, are quartz crystal. They can help you cope with the influx of energy that's present within whatever situation you're going into. It'll help you modulate it so that your body, your physical form, can cope with it, adapt to it. It can dial up the sensitivity or dial it down for a more basic way of describing what it could be. It's a sensitivity gauge, and you control that gauge, whether you want to be less or more. It's something that you may feel so much about this situation that to be able to tune down all the energy coming at you that isn't even really about what you're taking the leap towards or that you're taking a chance on. It's about all of your karmic contracts, all of the relationships that you've had, every possible energy that would be coming into your life as a result of taking this leap would be coming towards you as well. This could be very overwhelming. So, if you happen to have something like this, even if you don't, a meditation, a mantra of saying, or a visualization, to take like the volume control on your radio and turn it from 100 to like something like that you can just attach it to your sensitivity to information, energy coming towards you, to turn it down a little bit so that you can actually take this leap. And as you do this, you will be able to begin to develop what is necessary and needed to work with that energy without needing the crystal or, a physical object to assist you in coping with it. But for right now, if that's what's needed, that's what's needed. Because a lifetime of regret, I don't want that for anybody. If you need this answer, you need this answer. What is meant for you will be for you. So this thing you're holding on to, it'll be there, whether or not what you're leaping towards ends up working out or not. If it's meant for you, it'll still be there. But if you're here listening to this reading because you're considering taking this leap, you already know that what you're taking your leap towards is what is for you. Do you want to have like a lifetime of regret around not going towards what's meant for you? Or do you want to have the emotional processing of letting go, mourning of a situation, a dynamic that is holding you back but because you don't want hurt feelings, you're being held back. And it's more around their hurt feelings. Nobody likes hurting anyone they care about. Nobody. But if this person is not meant for you, if the situation is not meant for you, it's not meant for you, which means it's not meant for them. They may have a situation, a person, a dynamic that is this for them. But as long as they're in this with you, neither one of you can move towards what's actually meant for you. So releasing what's holding you back is the most loving thing you can do for both of you. And yeah, it hurts, and yeah, it sucks. But from the bigger picture, it's the most loving thing you could possibly do for both of you. Because what you're taking your leap towards, what you're here to take your leap towards, is what is meant for you. It is a soul contract. It's a lifetime soul contract. This person has so much of you to give to you that to not take this leap, you would be missing out on yourself. You would be not showing up for yourself. Can I have a card for... Oh, wow, that was really quick. Okay, for the element of water. There's so much transformation. And that's so poignant because legitimately, you moving towards this is not about the other person that is, that you're taking this leap towards. It's a lot about you. There's so much for you to learn about yourself. How much power you don't even know you have that you will learn, that you will gain. How strong you are, how wise you are, how potent your thoughts are when directed with intention. Yeah. And it's divinely guided. There's balance, there's among all of the elements. If you have had a life of feeling as though you could never be yourself, that you were never safe, that vulnerability was not, the choice to be vulnerable was not seen as a strength, and it is, you're going to be moving into a state with this choice that you're leaping towards, this situation, this person you're leaping towards, where that is going to be seen as a strength, where you're going to be able to be open, honest, vulnerable, emotional, and it's seen as the gift, the loyalty that you present as the blessing and the gift that it is. Because this person is that for you, you're that for them too. You mirror. What goes on inside is reflected back to you from outside. This person, this dynamic, this situation is looking at you in the very same way that you're looking at them. So the obstacles, the barriers, the borders, walls that are being allowed to keep this silence past when it's meant to be present is what's causing the issue here, which is why there needs to be that leap. Because what's causing the delay, what's blocking this, is not meant to be here anymore. It's meant to move on to what's meant for it, as well as you move towards what's meant for you. It's just kind of tidying up that last little bit of learning these couple of lessons yet while you're going through fully transmuting, alchemizing all of these changes. And this energy, this aspect, this other individual is meant to make decisions with you as you move towards your full 10 of Pentacles. You're on 8, but you need to have that input to create the 9, to be able to even get to the 10. Because this other aspect, this other energy, situation, dynamic has a unique connection to divine, has a way of manifesting that is unique, that complements, amplifies your own. And They may not necessarily know the divine plan, but they know the divine has a plan. You will be moving towards a life that you have probably been longing to lead for many lifetimes when you take this leap. Is it worth it? There's so much passion present within this reading. Know that that is mirrored back to you. I want to get a couple clarifiers here too. I get the sense that there is quite a bit of darkness that you both have come through, and that this darkness, this suffering, turmoil, lessons, karmic bonds, all of these things that you both have overcome, it's almost are you going to challenge yourself now to learn how to be happy, to be okay with being happy? This is what you've been working for all of your life and possibly many lifetimes. To have that challenge versus how am I going to overcome this unfair dynamic now? And then I know there's going to be another one, another one, another one. The challenge here is to allow yourself to get comfortable with being happy. Now, the other aspect of this is going to be mirrored back to you. You're going to learn so much about yourself and help them too to learn so much about themselves. It's a real ask for development of patience and compassion for yourself and acceptance for yourself so that you can bring that to the table with this other energy while you're creating your world together, while you're manifesting it. To know yourself is to know them better too, because they're mirroring you. As you move through this process, the invitation to be fully present in the moment, to go back to the breath, to anchor you in the moment. Especially if you don't have like the crystal, right? The visualization, if you're not going with that, go with the breath. Let the breath ground you in your body. And know that you have finally reached this point. To be grateful for this opportunity that is being presented right now, even though it's pretty intense and uncomfortable, but you're really excited. To be grateful for this intense moment. And the key is to know that the answers you seek to understand them lie within yourself. To remain grounded, connected to Mother Earth, to your body, is to also be connected to the divine. Because Mother Earth is also soul. It's also divine. Thank you very much for co-creating this reading with me. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to help you on this path, on this journey. And I do hope you found some peace and some guidance. Namaste. Okay, this reading is for those who are currently dealing with a bit of a decision about a new beginning. That resonates a lot with the Ace of Pentacles. So in this reading, as I said in the introduction, it could be about a Ace of Pentacles coming towards you or you offering one. So for the placement of Earth, the advice that we have for what is solid, consistent, what is immovable, what are you observing as stable, consistent? It's really either the lack of experience of enjoying the little things in life or the desire to be able to do so, to enjoy experiencing life, to have pleasure in little things. In the assertive energy, there is definitely a sense of not really experiencing this abundantly. You're not really experiencing this assertively. You're not acting towards this. But you are seeking balance within the assertive and receptive energy to be able to manifest this as it's part of your contract. And it's time for harvest. This is part of enjoying all of the hard work, all the shadow work, the healing that you have done to get from where you once were to where you are now. You're not open to any kind of frivolous energy, ego-based energy that wants to create obstacles for you from getting to a place of balance and maintaining it. Or already having it and just not being open to any of this stuff that is ego-based and shallow and frivolous, really. Any of that energy, you're not open to it affecting you at all. You're also not necessarily, this is interesting, I want to pull on this a little more. I feel that it's significant that the Page of Swords is inverted here, which speaks to, education, knowledge, awareness, balance, seeking information, and being open to the messages that come back through. Okay, that's a lot. Let's see what it has to say here. So you have an aspect of being very frustrated with what you do know, that the situation means the world to you. Absolutely means the world to you. And because there's so much you don't know and there's so much frustration around that, you're not able to have the fun, carefree, bubbly energy that you would like to bring to the table because you're not sure if your pinnacle that you're offering, or really this is about what you're offering here, will be received, will be accepted, because there's so much you have not been allowed to know, that you've been in the dark about. And this is the need to know. It is what you don't know that you need to know that is consistent. You want the balance. You want to be able to enjoy the harvest. You're not allowing any kind of deceptive, ego-based, shallow energy to come in. And you don't know a lot that you need to know to be able to move into a state of being playful and carefree in order to enjoy the little things. That's very, very clear. Wow. Okay. So moving into the element of air, what guidance do we have here for those that resonated with more of a Ace of Pentacles? All right, I had two come out with this. I typically do not read two, but I have done it once other in one of these readings, and they are definitely related. So, in the element of air, you know that life is always changing, and it'll change whether you want to change with it or not, whether you want to adapt, be it a maladaptation or one that's to your benefit. It's still going to move. It's still going to change. It's still going to evolve. Everything in the universe is in motion. And because of that, everything is in a constant state of transformation, alchemization. It's whether or not you are going to choose to evolve into this or that. Let's see here. I would like a little more clarification on this, because it does ring to a sense of a death or an ending. Could be a letting go of a past to embrace a future, which it doesn't necessarily need to be an overwhelming thing like someone actually dying. It could be something as simple as someone you used to know comes back into your life, and they've grown and they've changed and they've evolved, but they're still the same person. It's willing to let go of the concept that they must be exactly the same. That in and of itself is a letting go of what once was to allow what is to be present. Oh, wow, we're having some issues with these here. They're not wanting to give me, doesn't count. So we have some things in the past that possibly were presented as truth, but they were actually untruth. They were lies. They were manipulation. This is not something that's coming into your present. Your present is switching from a 7 of Swords inverted to a 7 of Cups upright. It's alchemizing that 7 of Swords into a 7 of Cups. And the 7 of Pentacles as well. No longer are you assertively, you're not choosing to watch as this develops anymore. You're wanting to act towards it. 777 too, by the way. I had to point that one out to you. This is a very abundant position. There are so many options and opportunities for growth, transformation, and manifestation present. There's been a lot of karma that has had to be worked through, lived through. A lot of heavy emotional lessons to be able to get to this point where the assertive and receptive aspects within you could become united and co-create with the divine within you. This has been a very heavy experience, a very burdensome, tiring experience as you've moved towards like that foundation that you had as your goal in mind the whole time to get from point A to point B. But you have successfully made it there. You have successfully achieved that balance and taking that chance, rolling the dice, knowing that your life from this moment forward cannot be as it has always been. If your life has been consistently that of working through karmic lessons so that you could be fully aware of yourself in this reality, not just in 3D, with your kingdom being led, you being led by your ego, and instead consciously living that with co-creation with the divine and higher self, the next chapters of your life are going to be ones that are themed around peace, love, prosperity, healing, growth, not struggle, suffering, torment, anxiety, overcoming, surviving. Be thriving, absolutely thriving. This is just that last step. The element of fire, it's a reminder yet again. I had the same placement here with the last reading. The Ace of Wands. So that may resonate with this reading as well. If you're at a bit of a decision point at some point here, the Ace of Wands reading can possibly have some synchronicities in it for you. So I invite you to listen to that one. So you manifest, you create the narrative of your life, you tell your story. You have to believe your story. What you desire is to enjoy the little things in life. What you are longing to create is this happiness, this joy, this peace, this thriving. So when you tell your story, do you say it as I am acknowledging the absence of what I long for? Or are you looking for where you already have these things? And as you look for and find the areas where you already have experience of little things, of pleasure, you're going to call more attention to that. You're going to give it your energy and thus make more of that experience. Versus being very painfully aware of the absence of what you long for, thus creating more absence of what you long for. Okay, that was way too much. Assertively, you're acting to have strong boundaries. So you are open, accepting, compassionate. But past a certain point, you're not going to let energy pass that. There's the Buddhist mudra called Karana that this really speaks to me, which it's been paraphrased by an instructor, and I found it kind of cheeky and funny, where it was to give love but take no. You could fill that one in. I don't want to swear on Netflix or on YouTube. Why are you saying Netflix? That's funny. Maybe there's supposed something on Netflix you're supposed to watch. I don't know. The concern is that either you or this other energy is going to be in this state to the point that they've set the boundaries so strictly that they won't allow love in. That's the concern here. You don't know the story that they're telling, but the story that you tell impacts the story they tell, because this situation is mirrored. What happens within you is immediately reflected within their reality as well. The balance of assertive and receptive energies within you. When you do your shadow work, when you work with these dynamics and you heal yourself, what doesn't work for you, you choose to change consciously, others around you begin to interact with you in a different way because you yourself act, move, speak, energetically show up in a different way. This particular situation matters a lot to you. So this dynamic is going to reflect any change that you have within the story you tell yourself of your life, of your manifestation of how things will go. It will immediately respond. You move, they move. Like, oh wow, I'm having a ludicrous song come to mind. You move, I move. Just like that. Yeah. That's coming to I haven't heard that song in so long. Oh my gosh. You're in a state of possibly not really communicating. Even if you do, it's so superficial and guarded that you still feel like you're kept apart, that you're not let in. This is something that the other side is feeling too. And you both want this to change. Both sides of this want this to change. This particular location, the fire aspect is 100% consistently being reciprocated, like mirrored almost perfectly in every reading so far. I haven't gotten to cups yet. Okay. I think you may be surprised at where the boundary is for what they will or will not tolerate. Is this person reasonable? Do they want to be in an unhealthy dynamic? Do they want to be talked down to? Do they want to be yelled at? Do they want to be called names? Do they want to be disrespected? Do they want to be made feel like they're not safe? If you want to know the specifics, truly the specifics, you have to speak to them. I know it's scary, but you're never really going to know if you don't really open the door. You'll just speculate. And are you comfortable with living never knowing? Only you can answer that. And really, with you never knowing, who are you really being unfair to? You or them? For the placement of water, what guidance do we have for those that resonated with the Ace of Pentacles? Ooh. All right, this one, it's a little intense, so I'll do my best to explain it. It's pretty much a vibe of someone who steals your confidence. The energy dynamic aspect, it could be an individual. It could be a consistent dynamic that's been present in all of your relationships. Most likely present within your primary parent dynamic, specifically that of the opposite sex or the parent of the sex that you find yourself most attracted to. So there's a dynamic in this where your confidence of what you feel, what you want, what you desire is undermined, is dimmed, diminished, taken from you. So you could be all happy, bouncy, giddy, emotionally excited, something happened, you're just like, yes, I feel on top of the world. And then you encounter someone who comes to you that has this very same dynamic. This could be a friend. It could be somebody you're friends with, but you know they want more. So they act from that position of wanting more, and you're just giddy happy about this individual and not them. So anything that you say or do to express how you feel, they're going to immediately have the perspective of, I don't want that to work for you because I want you. Whether they consciously know that or not, subconsciously, we're controlled by our subconscious thoughts, most of which we're not aware of, because most people don't do the shadow work. So subconsciously, they're doing what they can to sabotage you, even though consciously they're not aware of it. This is why you can say that you do not have a problem with someone as an individual, but you don't trust them. This is why both things can be true. You see them as a victim of their own subconscious that they're not willing to work with or haven't worked with. That's the boundary. To be able to enjoy the simple things in your life, to be able to have that level of balance, connection, presence, to really have the story that you're seeming to manifest, to want to live, you have to remove those who have a benefit of it not working, of what you're manifesting never manifesting. You cannot be giving them say or power in your life, in your experience from moment to moment. You cannot be letting them into that space, because subconsciously they're going to sabotage you any chance that their subconscious gets. And that's not really fair to them consciously or you. And you can't do their shadow work for them. Can't do that. So you have energies around you that are, whether consciously or subconsciously, actively sabotaging you. And you're choosing to allow them because it's possible you haven't seen it that way. But it is taking you from a state of being a balanced, assertive presence in your life. It's taking you from a upright emperor to living in a state of Nine of Swords, where you're constantly in anxiety, worry, frustration, because they give you these anxieties, these worries, these frustrations. They show you a narrative where it doesn't work out, and then you give your energy to it, and then you manifest it because you're now having anxiety about it. So you could be the upright emperor, which is what you were when you were excited and feeling pumped and like ready. You're just on top of the world, and then you encountered this individual or these individuals, and they brought what would never have been present, which would be the upright Nine of Swords, into the situation. It would have been an inverted Nine of Swords, but they came and they gave you doubts. They gave you their doubts, their subconscious doubts, and there you go. Now you're in a state of anxiety because they gave you alternate situations where things would not work out the way you want them to, because they want you. They may be your friend. You may have stated that, but you've always known they wanted more. So subconsciously, they're trying to manifest you. They're not necessarily aware that they're actually harming you, because what you want should be what they want. If they truly love you, they want you to be happy. And if that means you're happy with someone else, then that's what it means. That person should be willing to love you selflessly, not selfishly. Because if you're not with the person that you want to be with and you end up with them, you're not really wanting to be with them. Why would anyone ever want to be second choice? Ever. Knowingly be second choice. I wouldn't want that. I would reject the relationship for even knowing that. Be like, no, I want to be first choice for my person. I don't want to feel like I need to be in competition with everyone and anyone, because my person could leave at any moment because they don't really want me. Yeah, that is not a fair situation to them consciously. This person is not necessarily bad. They're just subconsciously bad for you, thus bad for themselves. There could be someone that they could be the upright emperor for. They could be number one choice. But as long as you are entertaining them, they are stuck in a state where they are being toxic subconsciously to you, manifesting a situation that they don't really want and you don't really want. This Also came up in the element of the Ace of Wands. Well, receptively, you are open to the concept that whatever is going on is not necessarily as it seems with what you are wanting to manifest. And you're open as well to this energy choosing you, to this energy giving you its Ace of Pentacles, asserting that this energy only has eyes for you. And all of them is what they bring to the table. All of them loves all of you. That's what you're open to. But you're aware that things are not necessarily appearing that way by design. And if you're not, you now are. This is a bit of a test. You're going to want to know that your person's going to choose you come hell or high water. They need to know that too. That'll cement your bond. That'll cement the connection. The challenge is, are you going to do what you've always done and go with what's easiest, but incredibly unfair and selfishly love? I want you to be with me, even though I know you want to be with someone else. Wow. To choose that person, even if they're not consciously doing it, you are now aware they're subconsciously doing it. The most selflessly loving thing you could do in this position would be to let them go and let them find a person that chooses them first, that will choose them come hell or high water. And maybe they'll do some shadow work. Maybe they'll heal. As a result of this, maybe they will be able to finally have that connection because this situation highlighted what needed healing. Is there anything else that we could have for guidance for those that chose the Ace of Pentacles? New beginning, dilemma, options, guidance. What do I do with the offer that I want to make or the offer I want to receive or has already come in? What do I do with this possible new beginning? There is a very strong indication that your intuition is going to allow you to see beyond what the surface shows you, to trust your own interpretation of what comes to you. Take a moment and then be willing to see it from another higher perspective, one where you see the forest, not just the tree, not just what's before you right now, but what comes as a result of you making a decision to embrace what's before you right now, and what that consequence will be for you and for others around you. Because you are consciously choosing the path that you take in life. You make the decision. You don't get to pass the buck. You don't get to say, oh, but it was this person's fault that I did this. No, this is a point where you don't get to say, because of my trauma, I am still being controlled by how they treated me, and thus I make bad decisions. No, you are fully aware how important this situation is to you. And you're torn because you know what you want, but you're used to a specific dance, a specific step, which is to choose the person that is closest and easiest. But this person is not truly happy with you, and you're not truly happy with them because they're not your first choice, and they know it. Owning that you make this decision, that you are the only one who's responsible for where your life goes after this decision is made. You are basically owning that you create your world. You are in a world of chess, you're the queen. You are the queen. And you're owning it. You're not just any queen. You're a golden, abundant queen that kicks butt if you want to. And that unlocks so many other things for you. Once you make this decision, you, especially if it's towards your first choice, and you choose to change what you've always done, which is to choose the easiest option. But choosing what you actually want allows you to realize how much power you have to manifest what you actually want in your life. Because more than likely, this is being mirrored back to you. This person has these same anxieties, these same worries, these same insecurities. But because you're not actually open and talking, because there's this block that's being allowed to be there because you're both worried about being insecure and freaking the other one out, more than likely, being rejected. You're both worried about that. You're realizing that when you take down the fake queen and you replace it with the golden queen, there's nothing you can't manifest. If you're moving from a state of selfless love, there's nothing you can't manifest. And it's not about, it is what it is. This is what you tell yourself as an excuse for being okay with what you don't really want. That is what it is. That's an excuse. That's a cop-out. This came out inverted. I have everything in this particular oracle deck upright. It was meant to come out as a, hey, this is not a positive way to read this. This is a way to put it as this is sarcasm applied to a situation, as a way of saying it's okay that I gave up on myself. Why? You have an opportunity to have everything you've ever wanted. Would you give up on yourself? You've done everything to get here. Why quit now? Why give up? Why throw your hands up and do the white flag? It makes no sense. Own that golden queen, and you have the keys to the universe. Thank you for co-creating this reading with me today. I really do hope that you found some guidance, some answers, some direction. Namaste. This is the Ace of Cups reading for the collective that resonated with this new beginning, seeking insight, as sometimes when we're so close to something, it's been more of a challenge to discern what is you desiring it to be so and it actually being so. So I do hope you find some peace, some synchronicities, some signs within this reading to bring about that inner state of calm and certainty and knowing. And may it strengthen your connection to your own intuition. Begin with a card for the placement of Earth. So what is constant? What is stable? What is consistent? What keeps circling back for you? What are you observing? That is what the element of air, or earth, sorry, that's what the element of earth really highlights. And it's suggesting that there's a need for ritual, respect for ritual, be it, ritual in your daily life, habits, or even more of a more spiritual based nature, that there's an opening to this, a truth coming through, healing, knowledge, that you're connecting with your guides. This may not always be comfortable, but you're assertive in being open to this. You're choosing to be. And that ritual is the key. This is also allowing you to move into a state of either giving or receiving of some abundance of knowledge or wisdom, and contributing a pentacle to an 8 of pentacle to make a 9. You're aware that you need to contribute to build from the 8 up to the 10. And you're making sure that you've learned the karmic lessons, you haven't missed anything, you're not wanting to have to go back and miss this opportunity because you didn't take the time to be thorough and consistent in that thoroughness. So this will allow you to be confident with what you are intuitively picking up, your abilities, your connection to divine, your sensitivity to energy, to your perception. You're receptive to learning from the energies that have come to you, at you, to destabilize you, to knock you off of your platform, if you will. You are seeing them as opportunities to learn. Typically, when you look at an energy like this, you're thinking, I want to elevate above it. I want to be unaffected by it. You've already been there. You've already done that. Now you want to learn from that energy. You're wanting to understand it so you can possibly even assist the divine to interact with it, to transform it, to plant seeds of light within this energy here on planet Earth. So if we're looking at divine as being like the universe, Earth, Gaia being 3D, divine, universe being 5D, we are experiencing both. We are experiencing both, and we're choosing not to be in conflict, but to interact with both. Because we are of both. In a lot of the indigenous shamanic cultures, there's a consistent theme of, Father Sky, Mother Earth, and we are the children. They are our parents. There's a piece of them of each of them within us. So you're intuitively aware that you're capable of analyzing this information from an intuitive perspective to assist in creating positive change. Through the divine and Gaia becoming more aware of these dynamics, they can act through you. They can assist you in alchemizing this, planting those seeds to help others alchemize. Beautiful. Okay. Moving into the element of air for this part of the collective. In air, you know that there are cycles to every rhythm, routine within nature. There's life and there's death, and it's continually repeating. So you are seeking to understand this process, to refine it, to express yourself, to experience this, and to assist others in not fearing it, but embracing it so that they can celebrate, be fully present more so in their life, more consciously. You are also being asked to release something that you have been very protective of, an image, a concept. You may have found yourself being too rigid, and your expectation or within the memory of it, this, as you have gone through and healed and evolved, this energy aspect has also gone through and evolved and healed and changed and transformed. So this person, well, if we're speaking of a person, as this is the Ace of Cups, they have also grown and changed and evolved. And they're needing some kind of space with which to be the same person, but if they need to know that they'll be received, even if they maybe seem inconsistent with what you remember. Because this is an energy that's coming back around. And it's being defensive of its feelings and emotions. It's worried about being rejected. So you're being asked to kind of be open to a cycle having completed or closed for them, allowing them to evolve, to be open to the evolved them. That this was always part of the plan between the prospective higher selves, and was also part of the co-creation with the universe between you, both your higher selves and the divine, present within all of you, all aspects of you. Can I have a card for the placement of fire? Just the desire, the will, what you are passionate about creating, manifesting into existence. Not everything is necessarily as it seems. It could actually be both. It could be both cat and dog in physical like appearance, or cat and lupine and feline in presentation. And this may kind of like throw you, but it's one of the reasons why the fox is seen as a trickster, because it has attributes in how it moves and hunts of both. So it's not necessarily black or white, but it's somewhere in between. And at different times, it could be a little more, of the light side, depending on the situation. It could behave, a little more lupine or feline, given a specific scenario, and vice versa. So, how does this kind of become manifest in more of the assertive energies within this message here? Because we see that you're willing to defend this. You're willing to protect what is yours. So assertively, you are looking for a sign and looking and looking and looking and toiling and working and then looking again for the sign is becoming something that is very heavy. But you're ready to go. You're ready to act. You just need that sign. And being that things are not always as they appear to be, they could be both. You may be seeing changes. You may be seeing a whole collage of signs, but it's not the one you're looking for, so you hesitate. This very well may be the signal that you're looking for, you just don't know it. Because this is a very crafty, cunning kind of energy. You may be not getting that specific signal, because if that specific signal comes through, you're going to be finding all your fears and what you want to give to come to reality. So this collage of signs and synchronicities, even though they're not the one you're looking for, the fact that there are so many, you're getting the signal. You just don't realize what it is. Because once you recognize this, you're not going to be staying up all night in anxiety, worry, and fretting and fearing, and you'll be able to give that offer to whatever you are seeking to manifest here with a confidence that everything really is as it's meant to be. And even though you didn't understand it, the divine had a plan, and this plan protected the manifestation. This is where the divine is surprising you, showing you that your continued loyalty, love, and devotion and trust always in choosing love and light is being reciprocated. And the receptive aspect to this dynamic is you're not necessarily getting, yet again, that signal you're looking for, but that does not mean that it's not, something is not being attempted to be communicated. Especially when there's so many signs and synchronicities, there is a very consistent attempt to communicate. But because it's not the specific one that you're looking for, you find yourself feeling like you must disregard all of these signs and synchronicities. But this placement, it challenges you to see things as somewhere in between, as not necessarily locked in as it must be this or else. That very attitude is setting yourself up. Whatever signal you are attempting or waiting for, it may not be one that's capable of being sent. Not because necessarily that they are not capable of retrieving the information to know, but because they are not getting that information. It is a divine protection. Divine's rejection is divine protection. That kind of a thing, divine rejection is divine protection. If you take all of these synchronicities, all of these signals that indicate one way into account as a whole, it will show a consistent attempt to communicate one thing. As a whole, that should allow you to know that you're not alone in wanting the same thing that whatever you're manifesting wants to. That, yet again, what's going on inside of you is being mirrored back to you by the energy and the individuals and the dynamics around you. If you make a shift or a change internally, you'll see that externally. If there's some reason why inside of you, if you receive this signal, it sets off a whole chain reaction. It's the very reason why you're not getting that specific signal, because of that chain reaction. The butterfly effect comes into play, and divine understands that it has the amount of processing power to perceive things that we don't have access to. So this is an invitation in this place to trust the divine has a hand in this. When co-creating with the divine, there's going to need to be space for the divine to work with a void in your manifestation so that the divine can actually bring you what you truly desire and surprise you with it. It's like Christmas. You know it's going to be great. You could see those presents. You don't know what is necessarily in all of them. You have a pretty good idea about a couple things, but not every single present. And those gifts are sometimes the greatest ones to receive. The placement of water, very element of the Ace of Cups. Okay, we got how many? Two? I'll rock two. Okay. This highlights also the things are not necessarily as they are presenting to be. They could be somewhere in between, somewhat of both. The lupine and feline aspects present within the fox and how they hunt and move and jump and just behave, right? Move in general. If you apply this to, life and manifestation and intuition, you have manifested a new beginning. You have, invested a lot of energy, time, emotion, passion into this. And it's not necessarily coming to you exactly as you expect it to. That does not mean that it's not here. We need to be willing to see the different shades, hues, the different mixings of black and white in between those polarities. There's a lot of different situations within your life where you're going to feel different degrees of excitement about something. For example, that could be light, or different degrees of uncertainty, anxiety, pros and cons to a situation before you make the decision. So on and so forth with that. With like dark, it could also be something where there's so much potential for creation because within that void, all the elements are present and thus creation can exist there. You bring light to the situation or that aspect and you can create. And how you handle this, how you direct this, how you choose to interpret the varying degrees and levels, it's not this or that. It could be somewhere in between. How you handle this, you choose to approach it. And you may have been trying to do this for some time. How you choose to learn from these, failures to find balance, allow you to find balance. Because every failure is a lesson. Every attempt that doesn't succeed, you learn, you get better, you improve, you observe what not to do and what to do. And even in what order. You can apply this to just about anything, from video games to sports to writing to art. It is part of learning. So in this creation, this co-creation of this new beginning, you may have perceived something to be dead, to be done, to be over, as an official failure, as it's never going to be. But this is not actually the truth. You have learned from your failures, and that lesson has allowed you to start back over with a new cycle of being the fool again, willing to take that chance to be happy again, to move towards something that makes you excited and happy. You have learned from the failures, if you will. You have done your homework. Assertively, this is where you are with your intuition, with your shadow work, with your relationship with love, be it of self, be it a relationship of love, of many different aspects of life, especially that of a romantic nature. Ooh, I just had this story come to mind, and it's more than likely one that you've probably encountered before, but it speaks to there being two different wolves in every person's heart. One wolf, it will stand a little more for aggression and anger and hatred and just all around negative stuff, right? Suffering, rage. The other wolf is a wolf of peace, of love, of abundance, of joy, and they're always fighting one another for strength and dominance. And if you choose to give your energy, attention to light and love, you feed that wolf. So that wolf becomes stronger and is better able to defend itself and attack the other. The wolf of anger and fear and rage and inner turmoil and victimhood and victimizing. This part of you, if you continually seek environments, people, situations that inspire these emotional experiences within you, you are continually feeding that wolf, and that wolf will become stronger and better able to defend itself and attack the other wolf. You have learned to find a balance between the two, so they're not really fighting. They're working together towards the common goal that they both benefit from. Sounds exhausting to me. And congratulations on finding that balance in yourself. So in the receptive energies, what are we needing some highlights for with the receptive energy present within the water placement? For those really just needing to kind of have a bit more guidance and clarification about this Ace of Cups situation. Well, you have a King of Cups here upright. So you have a assertive energy within you, externally mirroring what's going on within you, that is giving energy to the light and love aspect of themselves. They are actively working on opening the space within them. You have very protective, divine energy here assisting with healing of both the light and shadow aspects of self. A signal that you're being protected, not only guided, but you are being protected. And you're receptive to this. And you're receptive to the happiness that comes with having successfully worked through all of this to be able to begin a new cycle, starting over at the Fool, which is paired in the receptive energy with the Sun. Happiness beyond what you could imagine. If I could get some oracle cards for any additional messages for the collective for this particular reading. This is an invitation to turn within, quiet the mind so that you can connect more clearly with the divine, really highlighting the need for a ritual with this. Your discernment will become sharper and clearer, and to ground yourself with Gaia as being fully aware and able to ground these 5D, these higher vibrational divine energies intuitively. To be grounded while you receive this information will create a balance, and it will make this process of integrating and working with this divine gift of yours something that is far more beneficial for you and more pleasant and comfortable to work with. And you're more than capable of this. You're already doing this. It's just an affirmation to continue and maybe expand upon it, because it may become necessary as you begin to learn as the Fool all that is to come at the beginning of this new cycle, that you have officially begun. You not only have turned the wheel, you are in the new cycle. You're beginning to learn all the lessons of taking that leap of faith. As the Fool, congratulations. Thank you for co-creating this reading with me. Namaste.